Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am really glad you're here. Today's date is Tuesday, March 26, 2024. About 15 hours ago, a cargo ship that had a Singapore flags and registry by the name of Dolly hit a bridge in Baltimore, Maryland, and the bridge was totaled. It reminds me of casualties between deer and cars as far as the devastation goes. The upside to the event is that it happened at 1:30 in the morning when it was not rush hour traffic, although there are people that are involved with the calamity. But it could have been much worse at a different time of day. Now, the 48 rule applies. That means that within the next 48 hours, there's undoubtedly going to be more clarity to the situation. We're going to know what extent casualties have occurred and other information that people will be interested in. But I thought I'd do a tarot read about the situation so far, and we'll see what's going on as far as what the tarot wants us to know. Now, I'm going to take you first to a short compilation that's by no means comprehensive. Just give you some idea of what some of the things I saw and found as I was going, what happened, and again, items that piqued my curiosity. So let's go to that compilation. If it interests you, you can click on the Facebook link that'll be in the video description box and look at those yourself. But really, this is such a big news item today. And unfortunately, even though there's a lot of damage involved with it, I think there's a distraction element to it, as with most big news stories. It just is what it is. Okay, there are elements in our world that don't regard human life with the regard that they should have. So let's go to that compilation and I'll show you what I found and what made me curious. And I thought, let's see what the cards want us to know. Okay, here's a daytime picture. Some hours later, you can see where the bridge has knocked some of the containers off the cargo ship. And this is going to devastate this port. There's been a number of cargo ships that have had to be rerouted because this impacted their plans to offload and use that port. There were, according to what I'm reading, I actually found a fairly good, I usually cannot give a thumbs up to mainstream, but MSN had a fairly decent article, except that I don't like any article that tells me here's what to know, like just read this and you're done. But it did mention something that was kind of interesting, that the ship's crew did have time to issue a mayday call shortly before the crash, and that allowed authorities to stop vehicles from going on the bridge. There were some there. There was a road crew that was fixing potholes on the bridge. They were impacted, but the ship's crew, it sounds like, did a lot to try to avert or mitigate the damage and mayhem that was caused by this. Now, here's some of the things I saw that were interesting. So there's that MSN article, if you'd like to read it in more detail. I have some coverage by Gateway Pundit here for you. Then MJ Truth Ultra, a content creator on Twitter, X nowadays. I really like, he's staying on top of this. He has a lot of good information. Here's the timestamps, okay? The power goes out. 10 seconds later, the ship recovers power and black smoke can be seen signaling immediate evasive maneuvers. Then the power goes out again. The ship recovers, but by then it was too late and impact could not be avoided. So no question, the ship was shut down and gradually steered it into the column. So it is an act of terrorism. At this point, origins to that terrorism unknown. The crew of the ship and 2 pilots were fine. But there are apparently a number of vehicles. There's 7 people so far unaccounted for, the last I saw. So again, while it's not up to the minute and comprehensive, here is some of our information. Again, MJ Truth Ultra covering this very nicely on the X platform. And here is the link for him if you'd like to click on that, but you can just simply go over to X and follow that. So a mainstream article, semi-mainstream article, and then a Twitter content creator. I tried to give you a little variety there, smattering, so you could follow up if you're interested. And let's see what the cards want us to know. Like I said, obviously, this was not just an accident. This was an engineered event. And it sounds like the crew did an admirable job of trying to regain control of the ship, but apparently there was the systems were overtaken, the control systems, and power goes out, on, off again. And remember, these ships have a number of backup contingency systems, so none of those were able to be employed. And the event happened despite the good efforts of people involved. Let's see what the universe wants us to know about more information, especially regarding cause and effect of this situation that occurred earlier today with the cargo ship hitting the Francis Key Scott Bridge in Maryland. I'm going to move over to the other camera and you can watch me work with the cards and we'll find out together what the cards want us to know. Okay, insights and information are sought about the incident today involving the cargo ship that struck the bridge supports in Maryland, devastating that bridge, involving numerous civilians. And so we'd like insights and information, especially cause and effect. The Kachina knife spread with at least, not at least, with a total of 4 additional cards layered on top. So the universe knows how to order the cards to give us information. Okay, our first card is the Two of Swords, Three of Wands, the Magician, Queen of Wands, Eight of Cups, 10 of Cups, the Moon. Okay, just with what I'm seeing right here, we've got 2 major arcana showing up. So it is a significant, if not earth-shattering situation, and it is going to end up involving some loss of innocent life. Then I'm going to share some other insights, and then we'll look at elements of the card that lead me to say that, and then look at some more cards. I'm going to try to deal with the glare first. Hang on just a second. I hope that's better. Okay, what I'm seeing so far, first of all, there has been kind of a standoff between the dark hats, the cabal, and the white hats. I believe this situation was, they were threatened about it, and there was a stalemate. Again, you don't negotiate with terrorists. So it is a manufactured incident, absolutely. They worked hard to make it happen, to hijack the controls of that cargo ship and make this happen. Now, the effect hasn't been quite as severe as they had hoped. But let's look at what we've got here. What's going to happen? We're asking for cause and effect. Manufactured, absolutely cause. Stalemate. In other words, there was some warnings, some threats. If you don't do this, this will happen. If you don't stop this, this is going to happen. And you don't negotiate. So it happened. Now, the timing of it, again, was probably the most favorable you could have, 1:30 in the morning, when there's not as much traffic on the roads, and that's a plus. I don't know if they had tried to do something earlier with other ships. I'm kind of getting a nudge that maybe this wasn't the first cargo ship they tried it with. It was the first one they successfully managed to take over the controls and time it in such a way. Now, here's what's funny. There is, on that particular ship, again, they need to look, there are people that are going to lose their lives as a result of this incident. Not all of them were in vehicles. There may be some human passengers in those cargo containers, you know what I'm talking about, that may be discovered as they work on the cleanup and what have you. Hopefully, if there are, they can get in there with the sensors really quick and look for heat signatures of living people and get them rescued and into safe hands. And when they do, there's going to actually be some celebration about that. Now, part of what's going on too, again, with the Shenanigans gang, by impacting this big port, they're going to be overwhelming nearby ports that are going to have to take in way more traffic than they're used to taking and more cargo, which means there's probably going to be a lessening of due diligence about cargo coming in. And the deep state is planning to take advantage of that, if possible, again, to bring in or ship out some of the things that they want to do under cover of darkness and not in the clear light of day. So that is, again, they thought it was, even if they couldn't get as much damage out of it as they want, there is usually a multiple benefits or multiple goals to be achieved with any kind of these events, whether they're a false flappy thing or a hoax. And in this case, it is what it is. It is a destruction of property and a huge, significant, expensive portion of the infrastructure, and it's going to impact shipping down the road. It's going to impact some of the supply chains. So there may be some product interruptions for things, as it's going to take longer to get those ships offloaded and items with them. It's also possible, if the United States is keeping quiet, that there are some countries that are choosing not to do business with us right now because of, for whatever reason, from the shaky fiat dollar to causes and conflagrations that we're supporting and propping up and proxy events. This is a nice excuse for them to have for those shortages. Oh, it's just that it got caught up in all that mayhem after the port was closed because the bridge was down. So they're going to be using some of that for some excuses, and maybe again because we don't have access to all the information of what's going out there within our borders, and we don't get accurate accounting for what world sentiment or actions being taken against my country are. This may be something they're going to use to make some excuses to explain some of those shortages. Just something to think about. Let's get a few more cards and get additional information here. Well, that looks pretty good. The 10 of Pentacles. We've got the 2 of Cups showing up. I'm going to get all 4 out and then we'll go over Hierophant and Judgment. Interesting. Okay, so this is kind of, as I do these reads, by the way, if you're interested in this type of spread, I've had to tell people in the comments numerous times, I taught this basic spread in my Tarot 101 Part 2. I did 2 approximately almost 30-minute videos that were tutorials. Part 1 kind of introduced you to reading and walked up to a 3-card draw, and Part 2, we talked about this draw. The is used quite often in videos for YouTube because the whole thing fits in the frame fairly nicely. So I'm going to real quickly tell you just again, the center line is your timeline, unless you specify different. So we've got recent past, we've got present, we've got near future. Okay, then on either side, here's our question or situation, depending on what it might be. And this card will always tell a little more about it, kind of give some clarity or a little more depth to what our question is going to be, how it's going to be answered. Then here's our strongest insight card, and here's one that's also strong, and then these get less impactful as they come up. It's just a little further information. So let's look now at these less impactful further information cards. Okay, first of all, the resolve of the white hats is not going to be impacted by threats, by shenanigans, by they're going to keep doing what they're doing, because it's not just one bridge that's involved with all this, guys. It is an entire world and the human race. So ultimately, we're going to be celebrating, even if we have these incidents that cause destruction, devastation, harm individuals. Ultimately, we're going to get to a place where we're celebrating better. And again, this is a card of kind of agreement and resolve. So yeah, they're definitely going ahead and with as little collateral damage as possible, moving ahead with the plans. And those are to have our human race be able to achieve their potential and no longer be held back and held down. The Hierophant, that's kind of one of my deep state cards, just kind of a nod to the fact that, yeah, they were integral to what happened here. Okay, they are going to be facing some very serious consequences for their shenanigans. Let's leave it at that. I don't want to go farther in because, again, this judgment card is showing up in the near future, so there is going to be an accounting. Shenanigans ultimately do not pay off. Their day is done, period. Let's recap. In the wee hours of the morning today, there was a disaster that was one that involved loss of life as well as property. The cargo ship Dolly struck the Francis Key Scott Bridge in Maryland and Baltimore, Maryland, and it's destroyed. And it is the hot news item of the day. I don't know if it's partly being used a distraction from some of the goings on with a certain rapper that's got lawsuits and some notoriety to deal with, or what. But let's just look at this incident. We asked for insights and information with a special interest of cause and effect. So the universe responded and told us that, first of all, this card indicated a stalemate. There was a warning, there was a threat out there that this could happen, and they did not bite. They being the intended parties that were supposed to back down or back off from something, or this would happen. You don't negotiate with terrorists. So they made it happen. They made this event happen. It was a manufactured event. Looks like the control system was hijacked for that particular cargo ship. Timing of it was actually as convenient as a calamity possibly could because it was 1:30 in the morning, so it wasn't rush hour traffic. And kudos to the crew of that ship because they got a mayday out. They were able to, there was enough warning that this was happening that they were able to stop traffic onto the bridge, even though some was still present there as well as a road crew. And but it could have been much, much worse. So that crew really tried. You can look at the videos, and with the black smoke coming out where they were trying to reverse course and not hit, they really tried to do everything they could to regain control and not have this happen. But it did. And ultimately, it's what's going to happen is we're going to have some loss of life as a result of that. There are still some vehicles that are missing and unaccounted for. There is going to be some loss of life. There's also going to be an accounting for those that were involved in making this happen. They're not going to get away with it. Okay. Other things to be aware of too, with the loss of life being indicated by this, there may be some human cargo that needs to be rescued. So they need to get some heat sensors out there and make sure that that's not the case. If we learned a lesson from the Suez Canal, that should be it, to make sure that if there's any rescuing that needs to be done, it's done. And then there's, as I said, there's going to be some accounting, and no matter what they do, ultimately the forward motion of going from dark to light for our world is not going to be stopped. Nothing can stop what is coming. Okay, doesn't mean it's going to come without collateral damages. It doesn't mean it's going to be coming without blips in the radar, but nothing can stop what is coming. And I love the fact that there is going to be an accounting for those involved with the shenanigans that happened. So that's good. Now, another thing to be aware of that I mentioned during the video is that this is going to impact how quickly cargo can be offloaded. There may be some interruptions here in the United States and supply chains. We'll see how that works out. There is some of it that's going to be blamed on this. It may actually be a fact that we have some businesses, some countries that are choosing not to do business with us. And that is not, that's being very suppressed in our media. So it's going to be a convenient blame for that. Doesn't matter if there's a supply interruption, there's a supply interruption and we deal with it. But I do think we need to be aware that we being the United States of America, is not universally loved and adored. And it's a reality that we need to be aware of and understand that it is a position that we've put ourselves in by our actions and who and what we support and the proxy situations we get involved in. So hopefully those days are coming to an end. I hope so. I want to live in a world with a lot less representation needs and yeah, a lot less, and a lot higher light-filled population to be part of. I'm looking forward to that too. But in the meantime, I'm here. Now, this is just about the end of this video and the current events portion of it. After I say goodbye to those that are here just for the current events, I do have a short little thank you announcement that I'd like to include in this video. So if you were just here for the elements involving current events and what the tarot might have to say about it, that concludes this part of the video. And I thank you so much for watching. And if you've chosen to, for liking and subscribing, appreciate it very, very much. Until next time, if you're willing to receive it, I send you love, light, and wish for you everything bright. Bye. Now, for people that come to the channel for a little more than just the current events, yesterday was my 68th birthday, and it was, I'm sure, just a universe making a coincidence happen and, you know, synchronicity, but I got a package from a viewer. Virginia P had written me by email and mentioned that she was getting a happy surprise gathered up that would come my way. Well, I hear that before, you know, you just, if it happens, it happens. But it showed up, and I wanted to say, she's like me. We couldn't see what all the hoopla is about the Stanley Cups, the insulated Stanley Cups. Now, I mean, kudos to their marketing. They're putting out, you know, limited editions and their status symbol items now, and that is just absolutely great. She sent me a cup that is off-brand, and that's perfect because I wouldn't want a status symbol type of thing. Unbeknownst to me, they make bling for these. So she blinged me out. So here is my accessorized insulated cup with a copper-clad straw, a straw topper to keep it clean. I didn't know about those. It's got its own little strap-on purse for my phone and credit cards and what have you. A little charm with the letter L in it, and a cozy to keep it from, you know, doing any damage with condensation. And there were other things in that box too. It was like I opened item after item. I've had a couple people, there are some people that just have a gift for wrapping up and making these happy little gift boxes for people, and she's one of them. So is my moderator, Julie, and so is my good friend in Germany, Bara. Got a little rose gold pen, got some lip balm, I've got a little item from my phone, and there was a nice little handwritten card and a little flutterby thing that was inside it that started flapping when I pulled it out. So anyway, lots of little bling, and it really brightened up my birthday. And I wanted to thank her, and this is it. Don't expect a note, okay? And then again, while I appreciate gifts, you don't have to do that, really. The crucial support that I appreciate getting from you folks is positive energy. The prayers and intentions for the channel to be protected, to be allowed to remain up, and giving as much information as I'm able to get out there without getting put in the naughty corner too often. I appreciate that more than anything. So I don't want anybody to think, well, I can do better than that and try to do it. Plus, I'm at a stage in life, and I'm at a stage in my personal development where I'm ready to not acquire things, but have less and to do less. And of course, I say that with this stuffed full of things back here. So I'm by no means, you know, living a minimalist lifestyle, but I'm not into acquiring, and I don't want eventually someone to have to go through months and months and months of trying to clear out and take care of things. So, yeah, it's not a point in life for any of us to be acquiring anything but more love, more kindness, more knowledge, more information, more personal growth, more allowing ourselves to develop and become the manifestors and healers and all the little non-tangible gifts that have just been waiting to be activated in us. That's what it's time for now. I do appreciate the gift. I'm not trying to downplay that. I just don't want anybody to feel like they need to do something too. If I never get another gift in the mail, I will not feel slighted in the least. I want you to know that. Okay? All right, just send me a note, tell me you've been praying for me or you've been doing whatever your personal faith practice is. And that is great. That's the gift of all gifts as far as that goes. So now, for those of you that stayed through this, I thank you so much, and I'm sorry I took up so much of your time. And Regina, thank you again. I do appreciate your gift, and especially the little bling. That was I didn't even realize they did stuff like that. That was kind of amusing and fun and made me smile and laugh. So thank you so much. Appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you. So I know if you stayed, I don't even have to say if you're willing to receive it, you are, but I'll still, just in case, I'm going to say, if you're willing to receive it, I send you love, light, and wish for you everything bright. Until next time, bye.